that the mayor has a full slate to cover today. We do have a couple of announcements, and Tom Rumball, lead us off with the announcements.
Yes, Flag Maintenance Day, surprise, surprise, is Thursday. 2 shifts, 10 to 12 and 4 to 6 p.m. Wayne Bear's going to take care of the 10 to 12 shift. I'm going to take care of the 4 to 6 shift, but give me a call if you want to volunteer for any of those. You can stay as long as you want. You can come when you want. No volunteers are turned down. That's this Thursday, February 25th, 10 to 12, 4 to 6. Contact me or Wayne Bear. And I also wanted to give a special shout out, thanks to our mayor and anyone else that may be visiting from the city that gives us the use of the flag maintenance building out there, which is awesome. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, city admin and mayor. It's been a godsend for us, and it really does give us the flexibility to do the maintenance throughout the year that we have to do. So, yes. Tom, thank you so much for leading that up. Cheryl, I saw that you put Tom's contact information in the chat block. So if, again, the 25th, if you have time, feel free to reach out to Tom. Lynn, if you could maybe just cover real quick, there was a petition for a new member. If we could just highlight that real quick.
Let's do that.
Lynn, you're on mute.
Yeah,
maybe she can't hear me. Can you hear me, Lynn? Okay. All right. She's not listening. That's okay. There was a new member that it was emailed out to you. It's Andy. I'm going to butcher the last name. I think it's Ziegler with Westfield Bank. So he's the new, one of the managers for Westfield Bank in downtown, and proposed a new member. So you should have seen that come through. Just want you to know that is happening. Any other announcements from our membership? We have 80 people on the line, and it now would be the time to give any updates you'd like to the club or any announcements. Anybody? Okay, it's actually Phil, you have a meeting this Friday as well. If you want to make sure that what time is that on Friday?
8:30 a.m. Friday via Zoom, and I sent out an email with the link that you provided, Justin. Thank you.
Yep. So if you're on the 100th anniversary committee, 8:30 this Friday, Zoom, and we're going to be Zooming. So if you're on that committee, make sure you log in. Folks, without further ado, going to turn things over to Joel Montgomery, our city manager, who is going to introduce our mayor today for the State of the City address.
Okay, thanks, Justin. And before I introduce Bob, I just want to say I have one guest. That's Jonathan Millay. He's the city's Economic and Community Development Coordinator, and he'll be the one actually running the presentation for Bob. So if something gets screwed up and we all get kicked off, that'll be Jonathan's fault there if that happens. But hopefully everything will go well. So it is my pleasure today to introduce Mayor Robert F. Breneman. And even though 2020 was a year unlike any other, Bob's direction to focus on city services and growth didn't really change this year. He worked every day to ensure the city was operating efficiently, services were getting delivered, goals were being set, we were establishing initiatives and making decisions. And I think you'll see that as you listen to the State of the City today. And I would say not many mayors or other government officials before 2020 had the challenges and opportunities during their careers of governing through a pandemic. And Mayor Breneman is going to be sharing some of those challenges and how our city, how Wooster fared through this time in the State of the City. So as Bob leads us through his 4th term as mayor, the consistency of focus on Worcester's well-being and as a city and his dedication to its economic base and citizens, I think will be very evident as you see in his presentation. So most of you have probably heard multiple State of the City addresses. So you know that during Bob's 13 years so far as mayor, he's led us through a lot of challenges. We had the Great Recession, 2008, 2009 timeframe, the state budget and local government fund cuts in 2010. And of course, the pandemic last year and still going in this year. So he's also led us through some of the strongest growth in years and economic stability through the pandemic. His dedication to maintaining and improving services has just been consistent. So just a little bit of bio background. I know Justin sent some of this out, but Bob was born and raised in Worcester, grew up in a house on Oakley Road, attended Layton Elementary, Edgewood Junior High, and Worcester High School, graduating in 1974. Attended Wittenberg University, graduating with a degree in geology in 1978. Taught science in suburban Columbus for a couple of years before returning to Worcester and founding Ponderosa Consulting, an oil and gas production business. Bob's the fourth child of J. Clyde, and Lucy Breneman. His dad was an industrial engineer at Rubbermaid, and his dad was also mayor of Worcester from 1983 to 1984. Bob is married to Amy Breneman, daughter of fellow Rotarians Ted and Sue Crawford. Two of his three children moved back to Worcester, and all three either live or work in Worcester at this point. Bob served 2 terms on the Worcester Planning Commission before being elected to the first of 2 terms as a city councilman. Then he was elected mayor in 2007, re-elected to a second term in 2011, a third term in 2015, and a fourth term in 2019. So as of the end of 2021, Bob will have served the citizens of Worcester for 26 years as either an appointed or an elected official. He's the first mayor, as we said, to serve 3 full terms and now the first 4-term mayor. I think one would be hard pressed to find someone as dedicated to Worcester as Bob. I worked for the city for almost 21 years now and worked real close with Bob for about 14 years. And I can say without a doubt that Bob loves Worcester, and everything he does is seeking the best for its citizens and its businesses, and that's what motivates him. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Bob.
All right. Thank you, Joel. That was very kind. I appreciate the kind words there. And good greetings to the Wooster Rotary members. And thank you for the privilege to present my view of the state of our city. I've always felt that this yearly presentation must reflect on our collective accomplishments as a community, but also our challenges over the past year. 2020 was a year that definitely had both, which we will talk about in a few minutes. So as a play on words, Jonathan's getting our screen up right now. So as a play on words of the biographical novel about Michelangelo, the picture above and this address could be called the ecstasy and the agony. Ecstasy because the 2020 year started off amazingly good with a strong economy and the purchase of the 5L farm for economic development. But by mid-March, the agony, COVID virus, crept into our world, and the rest of the year was turmoil caused by it. But I've learned over the years of doing this presentation that people are interested in hearing about the direction we are heading and the goals that we are looking to achieve, and then enjoying our accomplishments. So we'll start with what we're looking to achieve in the 2021 year. Before we get started into our goals, I would be remiss if I didn't recognize and applaud the Wooster Rotary Club for your century of service to our community. Service clubs, by their very nature, make a community better. This is truly the case of the Rotary Club. You've been instrumental in helping over the years with dictionaries for students, the Al Van Wee Classic, the bike repair stations around Worcester, the pavilion at Oak Hill Park, and my favorite service project ever, the Rotary Flag Project, which makes our city look so great and helps so many other clubs earn money. So thank you for all you do, and go shoot for another 100 years of excellence. Now on to the goals. We have 10 community goals that our city team will be working to achieve or get started this year. As in past years, most of the goals we plan to accomplish this year, but some will take multiple years to finish. So here is our 2021 plan. I'll go through them one at a time and explain. Goal number 1, the downtown Southwest Quad streetscape. Our first goal is a happy one for us here in City Hall. This is the final step of a multi-year plan to fix and renew the streetscape around the square of downtown Worcester. The Southwest Quad with the statue, PNC Bank, Everything Rubbermaid store, and the gift corner will be getting its facelift starting this spring.
with a completion date of September 30th, 2021. The total cost is approximately $900,000. Goal number 2, Fire Station 1 plans and engineering. Goal 2 was first introduced last year. We have been meeting internally to determine what is needed to bring this 1961 era fire station up to the community's needs of today. Good news is the station is in the right spot from a safety response view, and the building is still in good physical shape. But wiring, technology, room layouts, equipment stacking and storage, etc., have changed dramatically in 60 years. We have budgeted $250,000 this year for engineering and architectural plans, planned to construct in 2022 with an estimated cost of $3 million. Goal number 3, Melrose Drive reconstruction. We will be working on planning, engineering, and rights-of-way in the 2021 year for improving Melrose Drive from Milltown Road to Smithville Western Road. Construction is planned for 22-23. The plans include extending a multi-purpose trail on one side of the road and curbs, gutters, and sidewalk. A nice improvement to this busy north-south road in our city. Goal number 4, connecting the loop. We've been working on improving our connectivity since November of 2014. This goal was derived from our city's 10-year comprehensive plan. This picture on the left is Portage Road Connector, which was completed in 2020. For 2021, we have applied for a Transportation Alternatives Program grant through the state. This would be a connector trail along Milltown Road from Melrose to Frenchville roads. If received, this would complete the third side of our loop around Wooster. We should know if we receive this grant by May of this year. Goal number 5, Wooster Innovation Park. This goal is and has been planned as a multi-year challenge and was first mentioned in my 2016 State of the City report. We believe that having vacant land for the purpose of attracting and expanding businesses is the responsible way to keep our city growing. The city purchased the 150-acre 5L farm on February 18th, 2020, approximately a year ago, which is adjacent to Daisy Brand and Wooster Innovation Park off of Old Airport Road, Daisy Way, and Geyers Chapel Road. We have been marketing this land for industrial growth since purchasing. We are pleased that we've already had a few interested parties considering this site. Goal number 6, housing in Wooster. Our city has been wrestling with this housing dilemma for the last 3 years. This graph paints the picture. The blue line shows single-family housing starts from 1999 to 2020, a period of 22 years. You can see it was approximately 60 houses per year built in 1999, then jumped to over 100 per year in 2004, then dropped to 10 in 2009, and floated in the 10 to 20 range for the next 11 years. The multifamily housing is about the same, except to stronger extremes. The economy was good up till the recession starting in October of 2008. So why did the housing starts fall so dramatically from 2004 to 2006, 2 years before the recession started? Why do housing developers today need public incentives to build housing when 20 years ago they were never incentivized? Is the city's responsible to use taxpayers' dollars to help developers? Is it the city's responsibility to use taxpayer dollars to help developers create new homes? These are questions we, the city administration, council, and the public have been wrestling with. Goal 7, Oak Hill Road improvements. This is the intersection of Oldman Road and Oak Hill. Wooster High School, Keene, and Ida Sioux schools are to the right, and Oak Hill Park is to the left. Because of the growth of the area surrounding this section of roadway, traffic has grown steadily over the years. Now it is time to think about how to help traffic congestion during the busy times of the week on Oak Hill, and especially at intersections of Oldman Road when schools start and let out each day, and Milltown Road when schools let out and on weekends. This intersection shown, which is in the city, and the Milltown Road intersection, which is in the county, both need to be addressed. With the success of new roundabouts, we believe these are the best solution to both intersections. Unfortunately, these improvements carry a big price tag of about $3 million per intersection, or a total cost of approximately $7 million overall with the roadway included. We are having discussions with the county on these improvements and their timing. Goal number 8, connect the West Side neighborhoods and parks. Our city team and a bike trail steering committee that we formed in 2014, which has evolved into a group called Wayne Trails, have been working to get multi-purpose trails throughout our city and get connected to trails surrounding Worcester. We have made a great strides in getting these trails throughout our city and connected to statewide trails in Fredericksburg and the US Bike Route 40 trail. But one section of Worcester stands out as needing attention. This is the west side of our town, which contains 3 major city parks: Oak Hill, Christmas Run, and Clear Creek, which is under construction, a nature preserve, Walton Woods, and a large portion of Worcester's residential population. This goal is to establish the best route to serve this area, then set a timeline to establish funding and ultimately construct this trail. The goal will take multiple years to achieve, but will complement and complete a citywide trail system. Number 9, Christmas Run pool planning. You saw this goal for the first time in last year's State of the City. We found a problem with the liner in Christmas Run pool, which was installed in 1975. The liner is stainless steel. The problem is the support brackets attaching the liner to the original pool wall are not stainless, but regular steel that rusts, which they have, causing the liner panels to buckle. We fixed the problems and we're ready to open for the 2020 season, but because of COVID, we only opened Freelander Pool and Knightsfield Spray Ground. Time is ticking on how long our fix will last. The background: pool was built in 1948, the liner installed in 1975, bathhouse renovated in 2003. Remember, it's a box of water used for 2.5 months per year, but it does carry heavy usage by daycares and camps during the week. So options: 1, replace the brackets with stainless steel, which may last 15 plus years and cost approximately $800,000. Option 2, replace with a new pool of today's fun items and systems at a cost of about $2.5 million. Or option 3, demolish and fill in the pool and turn it into parkland. Cost approximately $100,000. The reality is Worcester is overpooled with water features for the location, geographically, the interest and size of our community. Christmas Run does serve a purpose though. It is located in the center of town. It is walkable to many of our neighborhoods, and it has a strong allegiance from its patrons who raised $100,000 to keep it open back in 2010. Admin and council will be looking for answers to the best direction to head. And our final goal, we have identified, you've seen in my State of the City since 2017. This is the improvement to Worcester Community Center located just east of the post office. The community center was built 45 years ago in 1976 using community funds and a federal grant. The building itself is in good shape and has had different remodeling projects over the years. Its main focus was the senior population and young children. As we've researched community centers around the state, We believe ours is in the right location to serve Worcester and can be a facility that will continue to serve its original focus, but can be expanded to serve much more. With City Council's buy-in and approval, we have been working to make this happen. We've had architectural drawings of what could go in the space surrounding the current center. We've been systematically acquiring land for expansion, researched and toured many other community centers around the state, and have been putting together lists of what features and functions an expanded center should have, what things would cost to include in an expansion, and what partners we could work with, and any outside resources we can attract to help make this expansion happen. COVID has slowed this progress down this past year, but the plan is still moving forward. This will still be on our goals list for a few more years. Now look at our 2021 finances provided by our finance team. Our city finances are still good, even through a tough COVID year. Our finance team predicted at the start of the virus having income being down about 5%. As you see, it came in better at being down only 4.2%, due in part to our city's diverse manufacturing-based safety net. Some businesses were up, others were down in our city. A bigger impact was that our expenses came in at 11.9% less than planned due to two main reasons. Our city team watching the bottom line and controlling spending, and the state and federal funds from the CARES Act forgivable funding. Also good news, we refinanced some of our debt to lower interest rates. We requested agencies to give our city's financial rating going into the refinancing, and Moody's on May 7th, 2020, about a month after the COVID virus hit our area, kept our AA2 rating, even as other cities' ratings dropped due to the COVID scare. This saved Worcester about $1.2 million by decreasing our general obligation bond debt by approximately 13%. Here's a quick graph showing city expenditures over time. Our leanest years were 2011 to 13 due to the Great Recession, the loss of local government funds, tangible personal property taxes, and the elimination of the Ohio estate tax. You can see we got back to taking care of our city's needs once the levy passed in May of 2013. Notice taking the proactive steps to preserve funding once COVID hit in March of 2020, holding back less essential spending until seeing how the economy was trending, and the unsure knowledge if the CARES Act funding was going to have to be repaid to the government or not. This last financial graph helps tell the story. This is the capital spending for the long-term needs of our community. Notice the box around the years 2010 to 2013. The Great Recession hit in October of 2008. Because of the city's main funding source is income taxes, we lag behind other parts of the economy when it impacts our funds. Remember from the previous slide how lean we got in 2011 to 13? Notice the capital investments into our community after passing the tax increase starting in 2014 forward. Also, please notice 2021 spending levels are lower. This is mainly due to the uncertainty caused by the COVID virus. We start planning our yearly city budgets during the summers of each year, fine-tune them through our administrative team during the early fall, and present the proposed budget to City Council by the second meeting of November, leaving City Council 3 readings to review so that it can be enacted before the end of each year. Because the COVID impact was unknown during the creation of the 2021 budget, we were cautious with the projects we planned due to the fact that our income stream might be adversely affected. Police departments across our nation came under scrutiny in 2020 due to the actions of other, mainly large city police force actions. Our city and the Worcester Police Department do not agree nor support some of the egregious actions that a few police officers around the United States took in performing their jobs in 2020. But we also disagree with members of our community who try to paint our local police team with the same brush as major city police departments. I am proud of the 40+ sworn police officers under the direction of Police Chief Matt Fisher and Assistant Chief Scott Rotolo's leadership. They have been very proactive in guiding our team to be fully certified in the Ohio Collaborative Community Policing Initiative since its inception in 2016. This community collaborative to improve and enhance the vital relationship between law enforcement and the communities they are sworn to serve. Our PD has been certified in 3 different groups of training on standards of conduct, which include bias-free policing, investigation of employee misconduct, use of force, body-worn cameras, recruitment and hiring, and community engagement. They have also recently gone through a recertification of these standards. Worcester is blessed to have such a talented and trained police force. Not to be outdone in our safety services serving our community, our fire and EMS services are second to none. This highly trained group of 40+ professionals are ready to react on a second's notice to any and all emergencies in our city where someone's life or health are in jeopardy. This was truly put to the test in 2020 due to the COVID virus and its unknown ways of transmission and potential deadly outcomes. The chances of our team coming in contact with someone having the virus was a daily occurrence during parts of last year. But due to the protection and sanitizing protocol that Chief Barry Saley and Assistant Chiefs Nathan Murphy and Scott Kuiper and their team put into place, I'm happy to report that to our knowledge, not one of our firefighter EMS team members contracted the virus from their work at the Worcester Fire Department. Here is a picture of one of the vaccination points that was through the Wayne County Health Department, but was organized and manned in part by Barry Saley and the Worcester FD. Here are some pictures of Worcester's utilities, water, wastewater, and the piping that goes with them. 2020 brought the painting of both clear well tanks outside our water production plant in the top right photo, along with painting and refurbishing mechanicals on our 2 clarifiers inside the plant, the top left photo. The bottom picture shows our wastewater plant where we have been working on our cogen engine and system. It's the building to the right of the black bubbles, and started the construction of our big sludge tank. Seen at the back of this picture, inside the yellow square, and at the bottom right photo. These, along with water line replacements on Holmes Boulevard and Caldwell Circle, Lincoln, Washington, McKinley, and West Henry Streets made up the bulk of our utility improvements last year. From paving roads, chip sealing alleys, maintaining parks and the downtown, picking up leaves, plowing snow, restocking trout in Grosjean Park, to putting up the Christmas tree in the square and everything in between. Our public property maintenance, or PPM for short, team, led by Kurt Denny and company, do an outstanding job for Worcester. This small but mighty band of fixers tackle any and every kind of problem, upkeep and repair our city faces on a daily basis. This is the 20+ member team that you like to see show up because they are going to create, fix, and improve things in our community. Thank you to our PPM crew. Freelander Chalet was getting its final touches in 2020. The outside of the building was painted and a new roof is in the process of getting installed. 2020 was a tough year to showcase our newly renovated chalet because of the COVID protocols placed on gatherings. There is definitely interest in using the facility by the bookings we are seeing. Welcome 2021. Hopefully it will be put to a good use for our city. The recreation world was hit harder by the pandemic than most of our city divisions because it deals with quality of life aspects which people use. Our community center fell under the senior care virus guidelines from the state, so it was unable to open much of last year. We kept the staff focused on other ways to maintain services to our community. 2020 was also our decennial charter review year. This group of 11 people spent months going through our city charter, which started out in person, but evolved into Zoom meetings to finish the process. City Council and the voters approved of their recommendations. We now are operating under our revised and updated charter for the next 10 years. Thank you to this dedicated volunteer group. As mentioned earlier, to me, this purchase of developmental land was the most positive, impactful thing to happen to our city in 2020. This allows the city to have planned growth in the business sector, which create jobs for our citizens. This 150-acre property is adjacent to the largest of our city's business parks and should provide approximately 8+ years of new or retained business growth for Wooster. This, along with a very strong economy in the first quarter of 2020, are part of the ecstasy portion of last year that I mentioned in my opening slide. And this thing called the COVID-19 virus and the protocols we have all learned to live with over the last 10+ months is the agony piece of 2020. This life-changing virus was first recognized in Worcester on March 11th, 2020 at a town hall meeting called by the medical team at Worcester Community Hospital to inform our community about the impending spread. 21 days later, on April 1st, Bill Sharon, the CEO of WCH, sent notice to the board. I believe the virus, or it appears the virus has finally arrived. We have 2 patients who tested positive in the hospital, one of whom is in the ICU. We also have a patient in the ER that we strongly suspect may be positive. So started the journey that we are still on. There is light at the end of this tunnel. Numbers of COVID cases have been falling and vaccine shots are happening. I just learned this recently that we are down to 2 COVID cases in the hospital, and the positive COVID testing is dropping too. So great news there. But here's the rest of the story of the past year. We banded together as citizens of our city, state, and country and figured out how to move forward, which we did. The rest of the slides are pictures of how this happened in Worcester. This slide is a picture of our city's first of many Zoom City Council meetings. They have actually gone well and better than expected. We all do look forward to getting back to in-person meetings. Our city and hospital and the services we provide never faltered, and people quickly realized they could depend on our teams. Economic development projects move forward. Here's a recent picture of Certified Angus Beef's newest building on Riffle Road. This will be their printing office and warehousing facility for their operation. Worcester City Schools levy did pass by 222 votes. This allows our city schools to keep moving forward. This is a very important component in economic development for our city and the growth of our children. Congratulations and go woo. Not quite like Anita Journey says it. City pool is open. We weren't sure this was going to happen, but the diligence of our team made it so. We were only allowed under the governor's rulings to open Freelander Pool and Knightsfield Spray Park due to spacing requirements. But it worked well due to the efforts of our city rec team and the YMCA. For your information, Worcester pools were one of only a few municipal pools in Ohio to open. 75% remained closed due to COVID. This allowed some normalcy for our residents and was pulled off without a hitch. Nice job, crew. This is the living room project of the Worcester Salvation Army shelter, which opened in October of 2020. This came about from the efforts of the Salvation Army and 180 and the support of the city and county. It provides a daytime shelter for people with no place to go and has helped the city with this group. Thanks go to Salvation Army Majors Madeline and Harry Dwyer and Tim and Connie Higgins, and 180 Executive Director Bobby Douglas and Special Projects Coordinator Krista Kidney and the Housing Coalition who made this possible. On June 30th, our amazing hospital was recognized for the 6th time as one of the top 100 hospitals in our country by IBM Watson Health. Not only were we recognized in this esteemed group of 100, the rankings are broken into 5 categories. WCH is in the medium community hospital ranks and was shown as the #1 hospital in the medium ranking. After being involved with the hospital now for the last 23 years, I've come to understand good ranking agencies. And the IBM Watson Health is a very respected group who gives you the ranking on public metrics alone. Our hospital has been essential in dealing with the COVID virus, and we are thankful that they and all of our healthcare workers and first responders are part of our city. Congratulations, WCH. The Wayne County Commissioners elected to form a land bank for our county. We at the city are very pleased and supportive of this action. This will help us move properties that are underwater, meaning they owe more for the building and property than they are worth and can't pay their taxes, utilities, or upkeep and become a blight on our city. This allows the land bank group to waive tax liens on delinquent properties, letting the property be sold and have a value again, getting it back to a useful purpose. This is a positive step forward for everyone. Thank you, commissioners. DORA is an acronym for Designated Outdoor Refreshment Area. It was a novel way to help our downtown restaurants through the pandemic, and a great way to showcase our downtown to visitors and citizens alike. This has been a resounding success for everything we are hearing. The downtown restaurants and pub owners, along with the Chamber of Commerce, Main Street, and the city all worked together to make this happen. Great story during the agony part of 2020. This is the latest addition to our housing stock and perfect redevelopment project for the old Horn Nursing Home site. Thank you, Weaver Custom Homes and Ray and Associates, for buying this property and putting together such a nice development on the north side of our square. Another win for everyone involved. 2/3 of our square streetscape project done. Final third happening this year. Nice new public space to enjoy with a Dora beverage on a nice summer evening. We are very pleased with the results, and because of the COVID restrictions, construction on this project were less bothersome to the surrounding property owners. Another unexpected positive during our COVID agony. Thanks to our engineering team led by Roger Kovalarczyk, we continued the construction projects we had planned for 2020 in our city. Paving started on April 20th and included the main roads of Quinby, Milltown, Highland, and North Streets. 2 major reconstruction street projects were accomplished. Highland Avenue was rebuilt from Tatum Lane to Oak Hill Road. Nice improvement for this busy section of roadway, which opened to the public just before Thanksgiving in 2020. Sunset Lane off Melrose is the other. This street was an old chip and seal street with ditches on both sides. This is a great improvement for traffic in this area and for the Melrose School neighborhood. In conjunction with the Sunset Lane rebuild, a Safe Routes to School grant helped provide funding for the sidewalks on Sunset Lane, Armstrong Drive, and Highland Park Road. More successes in the agony part of 2020. Clear Creek Park on Venture Boulevard is under construction. This started in the fall with the clearing of trails and pavilion area. The weather turned bad, so the contractor had the latitude to wait till spring to get Worcester's newest park completed. This will be open to the public, hopefully sometime around midsummer. Thank you to Dick and Judy Seaman and the Seaman Corporation for their generous donation to Worcester's parks. Some other notables for 2020, these are the apartments being built on State Route 585 across from the fire station number 3. Housing is needed, and this is the quickest answer. 54 new apartments about to open. They are nice, according to our city inspectors who have been monitoring the building progress. Yeah, nice new facility addition to Western Reserve Insurance on Bendon Drive, east of 585. A piece of the original building is seen on the right side of the picture, with the new addition connected by an elevated walkway on the left. Congratulations to the Western Reserve Group and your beautiful new facility, and thank you for growing in our community. Westview Healthy Living continues moving forward with the growth of their skilled nursing facility and event center off of Mechanicsburg Road. It is a very nice and needed facility for our community and also provides housing for another sector of our society. Thank you for growing these essential assets for Worcester. Finally, the newest creation at the OARDC, Ohio State's new science building on their Worcester campus. This is now open and in business. This will house OSU's science department with classrooms, lab space, and the bug zoo, along with an on-site cafe. I understand that undergrad, master's, and doctoral studies will take place here and is a great addition to our OSU campus. Congratulations, and thank you for investing in Worcester. All in all, not a bad year for the agony part of 2020, but we will still celebrate when life gets back to normal. And with that, I'll be happy to answer or take any questions, and I can stay after the meeting. It's 1 o'clock ending if anybody has final questions they want to ask. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Justin, I guess, to lead the charge.
Absolutely. Mayor, thank you so much for a great presentation overview of what happened in 2020, and then also what your goals are for 2021. A job well done. We appreciate you doing this every year, and your slides are very well done. Jonathan, thank you for leading that charge on the slides. We do have a couple of questions for you, Bob. And obviously, one of the first questions, and I know you had highlighted it, and you've talked about it in the past, but there's still some, there's a question here. What is the plan to completely get rid of some of the smell concerns or the odor concerns in downtown Worcester?
Okay, and a very valid and appreciated question, actually. We spent or are spending $2 million right now to erect that big tank at our wastewater treatment plant. It is completely erected, except for there's a fabric dome top that has to be applied within a certain temperature range. And so we are waiting to get the temperature up a little bit where we can put that top on. It should be in use by, really, we're hoping July of this year. So once it is tested to make sure that there are no leaks and everything works well, then we'll fill it with sludge from the lagoons, but also the daily sludge that is part of sewer works. So really, by this summer, we are pretty confident that those smells will, I'd love to say completely go away. There might be a time when you're loading trucks to remove the sludge out to farm fields that we may catch a whiff, but they will be few and far between. So it'll be much, much better than we've seen in the past.
Okay.
So July of this year, hopefully.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a question here, and I know that your team has been working with AEP, and then I believe also Verizon as well, or maybe some of our cell carriers. A general question about the infrastructure that we're seeing installed on Oak Hill, the big poles up there by the high school. And then secondly, just some of the random poles that look a little unique. And is that, what are those for around town?
Okay, I'm assuming it's the steel poles that they're referring to at all. Okay.
That's what it says. Yep.
Yeah, AEP is actually a very proactive utility, and are replacing their systems ahead of when the demand gets strong. They recognized a few years ago that the northwest part of our city really needed more power to it, and so they started with creating that substation, and then led to the pole line that you see going down Oak Hill Road from the substation to just past Highland Avenue. Those technically are up at this point. They are still transferring some of the lines that carry other services up on the poles. The electric feed all the lines are up on that, to my knowledge, but they still have a ways to go. And then once they get all the lines transferred and in service, they'll come back and take down the wood poles that are right beside it. So you'll see a much cleaner look here as the weather behaves and gets towards summer. Really, they are the experts in the needs of the community, but so far I'm very pleased with their responsibility to Worcester. So and the single poles, like right there where Erig hits Burbank,
Yeah.
that was a turn point on a line, and if they hadn't done that, they would have had to run guy wires way out from that point. So by putting those steel bolted poles in, they don't have to guide them down, and that's why they put that one there. It's a strong turn point, a 90-degree turn point on the line.
Excellent. We have time for maybe one question live if anybody has one. Does anybody have a question live for the mayor? And let's make it a hard one.
Oh, there you go.
Don, you have one. Can you unmute yourself there, partner? Let me see here. Hold on. Don, try. Be great if you can. We're trying. On your. Oh, there you go, Don.
Excuse me?
Start over.
Right. Start
Okay.
over.
I'm interested in what's going on as far as affordable housing is concerned. I know that's been a difficult circumstance, but I'd like to know what headway is being made and what the prospects are for the future.
Sure. Good question. Appreciate it, Don. Well, the quickest answer is that 54 unit complex out on 585. That is going to be a mixed unit. So there will be some Section 8 people that can live in that and people who are in need. So it will be taking some of the lower income people. And we knew that going into it. And really the location of that was, as far as I'm concerned, a very important thing because it serves those type of individuals, but it gives them a chance to walk to many close businesses such as Scheffler and Daisy and United Titanium and Gojo. And so those are all within walking distance of those. So if somebody can't afford a car or a trip to those businesses, they can find employment close by. So that's the quickest fix. I know that we've had discussions with Stan Pop over at the housing authority here in town. I know he says that he is very tight on business or on housing availability. We hope that we are hearing some rustlings of possible housing groups looking at Worcester, whether any of them materialize or not. The ones that we're hearing are not low income housing. They would be more to moderate to high income houses. The way that helps the whole situation is you move people out of existing houses into those higher end, and then that opens it up so you start shuffling the deck upwards. So we are hearing some rumblings, nothing concrete at this point. So the 54 unit one out there is the best answer we have right now.
Okay, anybody else have a question live? There was another question about this permanent housing that our businesses need that was brought up, but Mary, you touched on that. Did one clarity piece, just because we think this is important. Please note that the new addition at Westview Healthy Living, it's at Westview Healthy Living and not at the Avenue of Worcester. I don't know if you said that, Mayor, or not, but and Bonnie Hall, who runs Westview Healthy Living, said if you would like to set up a tour to see that facility, just reach out to her.
Great.
Somebody had something live? Is there a live question? No? Well, Mary, you did a great job as always. We appreciate your time. We will send you over the comments in the chat block A lot of them are positive, so we'll share those with you.
Thanks.
Bob, we do really appreciate your time. Congratulations on 2020 being a good year despite the pandemic and the challenges that you and your team face.
Well,
So-
that we all face, and it truly is a group effort. I'll tell you, we couldn't do it without all of our partners in the community helping out. So we thank everybody.
Absolutely. Folks, this was recorded, so this will be on YouTube if you would like to share that with any of your team members or your family members, because it is very good information. And the parting information or announcement is that we have our 100th anniversary publication, a very nice piece that was led by Bob Gorman. That will be in the Daily Record. It's supposed to be there on Sunday. So if you do not get the Daily Record on the Daily, make sure you purchase one of those on Sunday. The Wooster Rotary piece should be in there. So again, Mayor, thank you, you and your team. Good presentation. And thank you. We had over 80 in attendance today. We appreciate you being here on Monday.
Hey, Justin, this is Don.
Yeah, Don.
Just teeing up our next week's program
Yeah.
with our own Chris Matthew, talking about the Worcester High School swimming team. So look forward to that. And thank you again,
Excellent.
Mr. Mayor.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Yes, queue up for the Worcester swim team next Monday. So everybody have yourself a good Monday, a good and safe week, and we will see you next Monday. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.